Hi everyone, welcome to a brief demonstration of virtual interview training for transition age youth. We designed this tool using known best practices to help train sustainable changes in job interview skills for autistic transition age youth and their peers with other disabilities. This is our home screen where we introduce Kendra, the job coach, and the stars of our training, Ms. Rita Munoz and Mr. Travis Bishop. And since saying virtual interview training for transition age youth is a mouthful, we just call the tool Rita and Travis. Now, Kendra, the job coach, provides a social story and introduces you to the tool and its core components. And I'll just play a few seconds so you can get a sense of her personality.
Welcome to Job Interview Training, the program that lets you practice your interview skills. I'm Kendra, and I'm here to help you. I work here at WonderSmart, the made-up department store where you want to work.
Okay, and so basically from here, she introduces you to the three core components of the training, the first of which is the interview basics. And this curriculum highlights various aspects of what to do before an interview, tips and advice for the interview itself, as well as how to follow up after the interview. So we'll just share a couple of examples. And all of this content is at a fourth grade reading level. And if trainees don't read at a fourth grade level, but can comprehend at a fourth grade level, this speaker function up here allows you to play an audio clip with Kendra reading it out loud, which is another component of this social storytelling.
Interview basics. Finding a job can be hard.
So getting back to our examples of getting ready for the job. So the first example that we can go over briefly is social media and the internet. And so here it's just some tips and advice basically to review your social media accounts and remove anything that could be inappropriate, where your hiring manager might see something and then make a judgment about you. And another example of getting ready would be dressing for success, and provides some imagery around dressing business casual, and then some bullet points on tips and advice for getting prepared for the interview in terms of how you present yourself. Now let's navigate to the second core component of the training, which is the application. And so here we just click, the application as we did, and then we click apply at WonderSmart, which is a fictional big box store that has several departments and 14 different jobs that range from entry level, such as food service, to web development, where participants would need a college degree for it. And then we can just type in any name for a job application and click create. Once here, it's just a basic online job application. But the big difference here is that trainees can reference tips and advice through this box right here. One of the most common errors that transition age youth make on a job application is writing, for their first name, just typically what people call them, which could be a nickname, instead of writing their first, or instead of writing their legal name down or typing it in. And then there's different aspects of that application, such as personal information, where you can identify your educational history, whether you have a prior conviction, whether you're authorized to work, your employment history, such as if you've had prior gaps in your work history, and then if you've had prior employment, what that company name is. And one thing that's neat about this function is that it can create, this can be a resource as well, because you're going to save all of this information, and you can save it as a PDF. You could print it out and use it to fill out real world job applications. And then we go to our position and schedule. As I mentioned, there's 14 different jobs, and we'll get into a little bit more of that in a minute or so. And then your availability, nights, weekends, hours that you're available to work during the week. Typical demographics tab. And then you can review your application, make any changes by clicking change and then editing the information. Go all the way down, and you can print it or save it as a PDF, as I mentioned. And then for us, we can save it and then click quit, which will take us back to the primary screen, where we then go to the interview itself. Internet lagged. There we go. And though, again, everything has voiceover with Kendra, reading it out loud to you. If we want to go directly to interviewing with Rita and Travis, we can just click this right here. If we want to learn a little bit more about WonderSmart and the kind of company it is, we can click that. The different job openings I mentioned to show you a little bit more detail here. So for example, a common first job for transition age youth is in food services. And so here we have some imagery to kind of demonstrate the position, some bullet points around different roles and responsibilities. And then we can do that. And then for example, web developer, kind of the same thing, just some imagery, some bullet points on the responsibilities of the position. So there's 14 different jobs. And then coming back, again, with the social storytelling is Kendra the coach. And so here she tells us a little bit more about her role within the tool.
I'll be with you to help you while you're interviewing. You'll see me on the screen giving you clues on how you're doing. Then, after each question, you'll be able to see in writing what the interviewer asked and what you said back. Your answers will be color-coded, so you will quickly know how well you did. You can also...
And so she's just sharing a little bit more about the feedback system that I'll get to in a minute. And then down below are the different cues that she gives, and then just brief videos of her demonstrating those cues and what they mean. And then the foundation for the interview skills to be learned are called learning goals. And so here again, it's going to be introduced by videos with Kendra. We can play that to listen to that video, but just for the sake of a brief demonstration, we'll get right to it. And so Rita and Travis, are going to be asking themselves, are you someone they want to work with? And so the interviews are scaffolded across easy, medium, and hard, where the easy reflects these first 4 skills or learning goals. And they represent confidence, positivity, professionalism, and showing interest in the position. And then each of these just pops up with a video of Kendra.
The interviewers want to work with someone who is excited about the job.
And again, that just gives you a little bit of flavor around how the tool works towards introducing the different skills. And then at medium, there's additional skills that ask the or trying to answer the question, will you be a good worker? That include being honest, dependable, and working well with others. And then at hard, you're trying to answer the question, will you do a good job? Where you can share strengths and skills, share past experiences, and share past limitations. So as I mentioned, they're scaffolded. So there's 4 skills at easy, 7 at medium, and 10 at hard. And easy, medium, and hard interviews also reflect variations in the personality of Rita and Travis. So they have 9 different personalities that are randomly selected when you choose to interview with them. And their personalities can even shift during the interview, where if they start out friendly and you say several inappropriate things, then they can become disinterested in you or even end the interview early. So let's go ahead and click interview now. So on this page, we're just selecting whether we want to go with easy interviews, medium, where we can choose the position, kind of reaffirm the position and upload our application, or hard, where we can choose a position, choose an application, or factors that apply to you. So we can kind of reaffirm which position we'd like to apply for. We can upload an application. I've done this a bit, so there's just a lot of different ones. Let's go to test. And then factors that apply to you. And this is where youth can practice disclosure. We're not advocating that they need to do this during a job interview. It's a personal choice, but if it's something they want to practice doing, that's something they can click and work through during the interview. And then when we click start, we'll randomly be introduced to either Rita or Travis. So today we'll be interviewing with Rita, and then we can just click here to begin. And then typically we recommend or advocate strongly that participants should try to read the statements out loud. So this is a microphone where they just click it and then it'll turn on and Rita can hear us. Or for demonstration purposes, I just have it off.
Click here to begin. I'm Rita Muniz from Human Resources. I'll be conducting your interview today.
So as we can see, Kendra's here in the bottom of the screen. She's going to give us her cues after we respond to Rita. And then basically from here, we just go ahead and answer Rita's questions.
It's nice to meet you. I'm glad you asked me in for an interview. I'm very excited about this opportunity.
Have you been by the construction site of the new store lately? It's on track to open in a month, although some of the new workers will likely start training before that.
And so as we can see underneath Rita's window, there's some feedback, some interpretation of what she's saying and what she means by what she's saying. Color-coded feedback using red light, green light, where green is helpful feedback, and then, or feedback for a helpful statement, and then red feedback is where your statement was hurtful to your rapport with Rita. And so here we're seeing this is a great way to start an interview. The interviewer will probably think you're professional, polite, and that you're interested in the job. And by then, if you kind of forgot her second question, it's down here as a reminder. And then we could choose something appropriate and perfect to say, or we can kind of explore a little bit and kind of, you know, be a little bit more informal.
Nope.
See how that goes.
Have you ever worked in a food services position before?
As you might remember, we said food services, and so Rita saw our application and is now asking us a question about that. But as you saw, Kendra gave us kind of the stop sign cue. And so here we have some red feedback that says, this is too casual and sounds dismissive, like you don't care. And so we're going to get some feedback in that way too. We also see that typically there's 6 to 8 responses. Any more than that, it's just too overwhelming for youth. And then up here, even though the window down here only shows a few exchanges or your kind of last exchange, up here is a running transcript of everything that you say with Rita. And then this transcript can get saved and referenced later, or you can print it and share it with a teacher to help get more feedback and input on how things went. And so then for the sake of a brief demonstration, we're just going to end the interview here and go straight to our feedback.
I really appreciate the chance to interview, but I don't feel like this is the job for me, and I don't want to waste any more of your time.
Oh, well then, let's just end the interview here. Goodbye.
So here on our performance assessment screen, Rita tells us if we got the job.
At this time, your answers do not qualify you to work at WonderSmart. Please keep practicing, and maybe next time we'll be able to offer you a job.
And then here we're going to get a summary feedback on each of our job interview skills. This is a video of Kendra giving you the kind of a brief summary overview.
You had some trouble showing the interviewer that you are someone people want to work with.
And then you get some feedback on whether you came across as confident, positive, professional, showing interest in the position, as well as whether you're a good worker. And then these 3 skills here, and then these 3 skills here. Again, this is just high-level summary feedback. And then you get a total score out of 100. And then there's a token economy system. So you actually get on hard 3 tokens per point scored, on medium 2 tokens per point scored, and an easy 1 token per point scored. And those tokens can be cashed in to get more advice from Kendra. Right now it says 90 out of 100 is required to pass. We're actually reducing that to 85. And then here we're going to exit this exercise, come back to the main screen, and then I'll just show you how to cash in the tokens quick. So here basically it just tells us about the token economy, and then we can cash those in order to get interview help, ask Kendra questions about working at WonderSmart, or just ask her questions to get to know her. And that is our brief demonstration.